We've just come to check out Bingara Riverside Camp, which is just down here. We're going to go have a look, so come with us and let's go check it out. Bingara is about 7 hours from Sydney CBD, around about 600 kilometres. The town itself has an IGA, a petrol station and a chemist and other shops that you can get plenty of supplies at. Bingara camping area allows dogs. There are no toilets, power facilities or anything. You must be self-contained. You can do swimming, kayaking, fishing, boating. There's no water other than the river. It is subject to flooding. Good internet and phone reception. It is free to stay. Some say there's a donation. We couldn't find one. Also, it can be hazardous when wet and the drive-in can be a bit rocky. But with all that in mind, it is suitable for all platforms. There are no marked sites in Bingara, so as soon as you drive in and get to the first area, have a look around because there are lots of places that you can just pitch up and set up along that river. And just on that, how amazing does that river look? Most of the places are flat and some are actually quite green. This place was flooded about a month ago when we arrived, quite severely, and in some places the topsoil got taken off, so it's not as grassy as you're seeing now. Like I mentioned earlier, you can pretty much set up along this river anywhere you feel comfortable. Now, if you haven't noticed, there's actually two roads, one just further up and one that you're seeing right in front of you. This one gets you closer to the riverside, so you can take whichever one you feel comfortable with. My suggestion is if you're going to sites further down, take the top road versus this one. Eventually these roads do line up, but be careful with this one because it can get a little bit boggy. Now this next area is right on the river, lovely. You can get a caravan in here quite easily, in and out, but make sure there's no one on either side of you because you might get stuck. Now, there's lots of amazing and lovely bird life, wildlife, good fishing here. And you can see how nice that river is up at that setting with the mountains in the background. But as I said, plenty of room. These sites along the river here are on a slight angle, but again, you can set up here quite comfortably. I wouldn't worry too much. But also bear in mind, there are areas like you can see here that are quite sandy. So if you're going to get your car through there, make sure that you get a bit of momentum or just stay away from it because you could probably get bogged. This next spot, there's two ways to get in, the way we've just showed you, or if you follow that road around, you can get in through the other way, which is probably the best way to do it. Again, right on the river. This one has got most of its topsoil taken off, so it's all that pebbly, sandy kind of stuff, but you can set up here pretty comfortably. Bear in mind, not a lot of shade. Stay. If you see horse riders there, give them a wave and say hi. Also, I think for kids, you can actually go and book a session and have a ride yourselves. Moving on to the next section, which is a bit further down, not as close to the river. You've got that little hill in front of you. There's not a lot of topsoil here, so you're camping on that sandy ground. Not a lot of shade, but hey, it is close to the river. If you prefer not to be on the river, you can also set up a bit further back on the other side of the road. So again, you can pretty much set up anywhere you like in this campground, as long as you don't interfere with the drive-in or other people. All right, heading down to what I call the other side or second half. This area is again right along the river, pretty exposed in this particular, with these people set up, I think they were pretty exposed, but again, lots of room and it's flat. So if you don't want to be on the river, you can set up further back, but again, not a lot of shade. So really it's up to you how you want to set up. There is another access road to get back and bypass the loop that we've gone through. But look at that lovely surrounding mountainside, just there on the river. If it's not clear, these sections can be quite sandy and pebbly, like you've seen before. This is because of the flooding and the topsoil have come off. That doesn't mean you can't set up here. Just be mindful with your cars, like I said earlier. Plenty of space. Look at that. You can set up wherever you like. Flat, as I said, on your feet when you're walking, wear some river shoes because it can get a little bit hard on your feet. One thing we did notice that again, there's not a lot of shade when you're close to the river. So bear that in mind. In the afternoon when the sun's coming down, it's going to get hot. So keep that in mind. You're probably going to put your chair in the river and spend most of your time wearing a hat, having some sort of drink in your hand and chilling out in that river. Now, shade is what you want. You can set up just a bit before the river, here in these shady spots between the trees, and you'll have shade for most of the day. Let's check out the final section, the back part of this place. Look at that river. Also, I want to point out, there was quite a strong current in the river. It almost felt like a swim spa. It wasn't dangerous, but I would say be mindful with young kids. And if you want to do some exercise, just sit there and swim against the current because it does feel like a bit of a swim spa. In this last area, lots of space, and probably the most shady that we've seen. Bear in mind though, we got in here with a 4-drive, with a low clearance caravan, not a problem. If you're in a 2-wheel drive, just be mindful of those softer areas. But again, you can set up here in the shade, lots of shade in this spot, and very, very close to the river. That river is there for you to use. Make sure you enjoy it. You got it all inside. In this area, there are multiple ways to get in to be close to the river. Some are narrower than others. So make sure you work out how you're going to get in, how you're going to get out, and where you're going to set up during your time there. Some of us may choose to reverse or go forward. We got in here easy, but one of the areas was a narrow squeeze, and then even coming out and doing a turn was a bit tight. So keep that in mind. For us, this was a cracker spot. Yes, we didn't have a lot of shade in the afternoon, but we covered that with our shelter that we set up. Outside of that, we enjoyed that river. This was a beautiful spot. As you can see, there's Anna relaxing. And just enjoying this amazing spot, scenery, river, everything it has to offer. And here's our final destination. Again, very sandy spot, so be mindful of that. Without that topsoil, it can be quite difficult. But what a great spot that these people have set up. That river is flowing nicely. They're enjoying their time. What an amazing backdrop, flat, spacious. You really can't ask for much more than that. And right at the end here, we did find another way out. We did drive it, but keep in mind, this way out is very narrow. I'm in the Gwydir River here at Bingara River Camp, enjoying this wonderful, refreshing river in this beautiful surroundings of this free camp. Come and check this place out, and remember, camp by me and you'll be a happy camper. Don't forget to check out our social media. Just search for Camp by Me, and also remember to subscribe on YouTube. It is free. Oh, whoop. And the wind was dead quiet before. It's a nice made sign. I think this is actually gravel. That's why they call it gravel screen. Rammed. Can you remind me that my glasses are hooked in behind my shorts so I don't sit on them? Thank you. At the Bingara. Okay.